Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades.
Welcome to Gas Masks and Hand Grenades. I'm your host, Jeff, and this brave man has come back again. He's like, I'm just gonna get in there and rope-a-dope a little bit, right?
Rope-a-dope. There you go. I like that. Rope-a-dope is cool.
Mr. John Bush, the legendary John Bush. Welcome. Good to see you again, my friend.
Hello, Jeff. How you doing, buddy?
I'm okay, man. I'm okay.
Right.
And seriously, it was great to see you. I was happy to see you. So
well, thanks for doing this interview. You know, we're getting back ready to go back out on the road again.
You
we
are.
Know this a couple months ago. It all
yes,
happened.
The irony is, the last time we spoke, you were 6 days away from going out on tour in Europe, and I think you're what, about 10 days away now, or 6 days?
The first show is the 18th in Portland, so that is 11 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be fun. And we had a great time on the first leg that we did with Wasp, and we were supposed to do this leg originally anyway.
Oh, were you? Okay.
We were. Actually, tickets were on sale for it at some point. I don't know if the dates were exactly as they are now, but they were pretty similar. And then Blackie had to deal with his back, and
that was back issue, right?
So he postponed it and then eventually canceled it. And then eventually, when they resurrected the dates, we were doing something else, so we weren't available. But then, as fate would have it, you know, the bands that were supposed to support him, I don't know exactly what the details are. And
I don't either.
But
Death Angel was going to be going out, and they're road dogs, man. I mean, they live on the road. I suspect it has something to do with Mark and Kerry King. That's just my suspicions. Yeah, we don't know anything. I don't know
anything. I really don't. You know, I've heard rumors, but you know, I kind of try to stay out of it. So.
I got a quiz for you. We're going to start with a little quiz. I want to see how much you know your host here. You don't really know me at all, but I want to see if you pick up on what I'm putting down here. So give me 1 second. I'm going to share a screen with you here, and so can you see that?
I see the picture, and yeah, I see it. And
okay, so
something written there as well.
That's a thumbnail there for you. That's my Instagram, and then I put everything when I make up the thumbnail. It goes on YouTube, and then I throw it up on Instagram. Well, I was hunting for pictures last time. I had you jamming and singing and everything, and this time I ran across this picture. I'm like, that's the picture. That is the picture. Now, can you guess why I chose that picture, John Bush?
Because you love Blackfoot.
Damn, you are good. You are good. Man, I did not think you. Well,
it's the Blackfoot shirt. A buddy of mine, actually the drummer of the band AC/DC, which is a all-gay AC/DC tribute, who are killer. They're so fun and hilarious. And he's a drummer, and he's a big Saint fan. And I've seen him, and I did a video with him, actually. Me and Doug Pinnick and Johnny from LA Guns did cameos in their video. They did a version of Highway to Hell, and great guys, huge metal fans. And he got me that shirt because I did an interview for Classic Rock in Britain, I think. And I was talking about Marauder being one of my favorite records back in the day. And he's like, I found the shirt. And I was like, dude, because you don't see a lot of Blackfoot.
No, you don't see them out there at all. That's why I saw that. I'm like, holy fuck. And I'm like, you and I are close in age, and we were kind of teenagers at the time when those albums were coming out. And I'm telling you, I lived in Houston, Texas, and Strikes, Tom Catton, and Marauder. You had to own those albums, man. They were like the heavier version of Skynyrd in a lot of ways.
Totally.
And the song Diary of a Working Man is the way that I learned how to finger pick. That song is exactly how I learned.
I mean, honestly, I could say that song probably had an influence on songs like Another Day and Isolation. I really did. Yeah, they did, because Dave was a huge fan of Rick Medlock and Blackfoot. as was I. And I think Rick is an awesome singer, underrated, totally bluesy, powerful, unique voice. I mean, I wish he would. I don't know if he does. I wish he would sing some of those Skynyrd songs. It'd probably sound really amazing if he did.
Yeah,
But,
great voice.
I'm stoked that he's, got that job, because he's just a really talented guy. And I don't know him, but I just know he's really talented, and it's cool that he, was able to take that step when some of those guys weren't able to anymore, and he deserves it. So yeah, great band, underrated. They had a run in Britain where they were pretty big.
Yeah, very big over there. That's right.
And I actually saw them with Def Leppard at the Santa Monica Civic.
No way.
House, and that place holds about 4,000. So it was the High and Dry Marauder tour. And
okay,
really cool. Yeah.
Great tour there, man. I saw him the year after. Well, was High and Dry 82 or 82, right? 81.
I don't know the years I couldn't get.
Yeah. I saw Pyromania with Gary Moore. Gary Moore was opening.
Oh, wow.
And Crocus was the middle band.
I remember that tour, actually.
In the night,
I don't remember Gary Moore on it. I felt like there was a third band that played here, but I remember Def Leppard and Crocus playing together for sure.
Gary was out with for Corridors of Power. And man, dude, when I saw that guy play, I'm like, whoa, that's next level shit right there, man.
Forget about it. And then he went on to do his blues thing, which was probably even more in his wheelhouse, which was really cool. So.
For sure. So, hey, man, we're here to talk about, I can't believe you nailed that shirt thing. I'm like, he's going to be like, what are you talking about, dude? I have no idea. But I was like, man, I just wonder. I got to ask him. So that was super cool. Now you got me hunting on eBay. I'm looking around going, I got to have one. Yeah. So we're here to talk about the big tour that you kind of gave us a little background on here, the big tour with Wasp, and I'll pull that up here so people can see the goodies on that. And so you were originally scheduled for this, and is this only your second time supporting them, or have you done support tours way back?
Well, we did the infamous Wasp Metallica Armored Saint tour back in 1985. That was the first one, the OG one that happened, that people still talk about to this day. Played the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago. We played, I believe, the Tower Theater in Philly. The 3 nights at L'Amour's in New York. So I mean, it was a classic tour that to this day a lot of people still. I was there, and I was killer. It was like basically our second official tour, being out there and Ride the Lightning, and it was awesome. So that was the first time we actually toured with Wasp, and we did a bunch of shows in the club circuit together before we actually got a record deal and stuff.
We're gonna get to that because I have a couple questions about that. Yeah, it's really weird. I don't recall that Metallica Wasp.
Really?
No, I don't. And I was going to shows. I would have been 85. I'd have been 19. I'd have been out of school probably in college. But I was thinking about this, John, and I was going to ask you this. You were in the business, so you probably had a lot more nose in the know than the general population. But think about how we found out about shows back then, because we didn't have the internet, we didn't have Instagram, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have all that crazy stuff. We had some magazines like Circus and Crawdaddy and Cream and Kerrang and things like that. But I'm really struggling. I was sitting here thinking about this last night going, how the hell did I know when Rush was coming? Or you know what I mean? Like, how do you remember that period of time? But you were in it. So
here in Los Angeles, we would have the calendar section to the Los Angeles Times, which was a lot bigger back then because people read the paper. I still do, but and there were a lot of shows promoted in that mostly bigger concerts, of course, but you still find out about shows. And then there was BAM magazine here in California. It was originally originated in the Bay because it was Bay Area Magazine, BAM. But it was a Southern California version of it too. And there was a ton of shows. It was all geared towards local shows and bigger shows as well. So that was a way to find out about on a kind of local level shows here in California and Los Angeles.
There must have been something here like that. I just don't remember. I don't know if that's a blind spot. I can remember shows I went to. Pretty much every show I've gone to, I remember.
Well, then you have the radio. I mean, even
The radio, probably. Yeah.
for sure. So, again, probably would gear towards bigger gigs, but like Wasp, our Metallic Armored saying if we played a place like the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago, say, and it was 4,000 people, that's a big show. So I'm sure the radio was promoting it.
It's, I'm going to sound like the old man screaming at the clouds thing here, but those were the good old days, man. That's when you got up at 3 a.m. and you went out to the mall and you got in line and they yelled at you for running too fast up to Ticketmaster. Now everything's, I'm going to say
I did all that. We went to Sears, which was really close to my house back in the day, and that's where Ticketron, I think it was Ticketron.
Ticketron, yeah.
And that's where you would get tickets, and they were like $6.50, and maybe the service charge was like 75 cents.
Yeah.
This is pre-Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
It was great. It was fun though. You'd be like, "How? There's nothing but Colonnade, and these seats suck, but whatever, we'll take them." So
I remember going one time for Rush. They were doing two shows. They always did two shows in Philly back to back, and I think it was for the Hold Your Fire tour. And the first one I got was like, pretty far up on the lower bowl. And I was like, I'm just going to go to one show. And then I went to the one show and I'm like, damn it, I'm getting a ticket for tomorrow night. I'm going, because Rush is my all-time favorite band of forever. And saw them like 56 times. And wow. I ended up going the day of the show in the afternoon and getting a ticket. And it was the first row on the lower bowl right by the stage. Like I just could sit there and watch the whole show and didn't have to even stand. And it was like, they were magical days. Now I was looking for a Maiden ticket the other day and I'm like, forget it, man. I'm not, $400, $600 for a floor seat. It's just like, come on.
Wow. Is that how much they were? Was it a resale ticket, or it can't have been the initial?
It wasn't the initial, no, because they're playing on the first. And the only thing that was available, I don't know if you played there. Have you played what's now Wells Fargo? I think it was called.
I never have, no.
Okay. Maybe did you ever play the old one, the
Spectrum?
Spectrum, yeah.
I saw a Flyers game at the Spectrum, but I know I never played there either, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Wells Fargo is quite a bit bigger. I think it's
of course. I
want to say it's 18,000, somewhere in that range. And the only thing that's left right now for standard tickets that aren't resale and bought up, which is, we don't want to get into that mess because I'll start raging. So, but $140 nosebleed seats. And I'm just like, I'm going to be watching it on the screen. What's the point?
Right. I mean, that's the problem. Like, I like the resale because it does give you the opportunity to get a ticket to a show if you really want to go. So that but there is obviously a racket in connection to that. So
huge.
It's in a sense what they are is they're just scalpers.
That's exactly what they are.
To use that's probably a derogatory term, but
and you guys aren't making the money, and the promoters aren't making the money, and it's like it's a racket. That's
this is trippy. Like, so we did some dates with Queensryche on that last run, and we heard on numerous occasions that the advance ticket sale was, say, like 600, but there was only like 500 there. And we were like, what? Like, usually there used to be, you would sell 600 in advance. And then, with walk up, you might get like 750. But at a lot of these shows that we were doing, we were hearing the number in the crowd was less. So we were just baffled by that. The only logical conclusion was that it seemed like ticket brokers, if whatever the right term is, would buy too many tickets and then couldn't resell them.
Exactly.
And they just ate them. And so there was fewer people actually in the venue, which is a big drag because you're buying so many tickets. It's kind of, you're getting a false perception of how many people you can anticipate. And then you're probably overcharging those extra tickets. And it's just a drag. So,
yeah, it really is, man. I mean, the good old days when you came in, if there was good old days, that could be a whole nother can of worms that we could open. But the good old days of you guys in the 80s, the 70s and 80s, it's just, that's the bad side of the internet and what it's done and how it's made.
Many bad sides.
Oh yeah, many bad sides. Right. So we'll jump off of that. But so what I wanted to ask you was, so you guys just got back from Europe about what, 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago,
Somewhere
something
around
like
there. Yeah, yeah.
that. How'd that tour go? Look, and you played a bunch of big. Did you do Brutal Assault? I think.
Yeah,
And
we played some festivals, which were really cool, and some great shows. Some headlining shows as well in the UK. It was fun. It was like maybe a 3.5 week long tour, month maybe. It was great to be in Europe again because we hadn't been there in a while, and
right.
it's always fun to go there. And we have a lot of diehard fans of Armored Saint in Europe and
Oh, hell
Germany,
yeah.
and Holland and Belgium, you name it. And so it's always great to go there. And we always kind of feel like we just never really toured Europe enough, to be honest. But lots of fun. We did a lot of shows where we played a lot of songs. Like we had a couple of nights where we played 17, 18 tunes, and that's a lot
for you.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's
it is a lot because we
workout
put
for
out a
you.
lot of energy. So,
Yeah.
it was like I lost some weight. Of course, didn't take long to put some back on, and I'm trying to get it back down, get the gut a little bit more flatter. But yeah, it's always great to be in Europe and play festivals and play some places we never played, Romania, Slovakia.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's always cool to go to new territories.
Did on the Queensryche tour, I told you last time we talked, I saw you in Philly at Keswick, and then like 2 days later, I think it was a day or two later, you were going to play Mechanicsburg, and I was stoked because it was a solo show.
I know.
And you got sick. How'd you make out on this tour?
That was fine, no problems. Everything was cool. Knock on wood. It's John trying to just stay as healthy as possible, and I mean, it's a drag. I hate canceling anything. It's I feel terrible about it. And it was just I couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't sing. It was going to maybe end up hurting my voice, and that's just be detrimental.
Yeah.
It's a drag. I wish I had an understudy, and I do, and I've had with Jason McMaster a couple of times.
Oh, right, that's right.
Extremely grateful to Jason. He's been my understudy, and he's always live, just awesome live, and his best John Bush, and I'm super grateful. And hopefully I will not need him again, even though I love him, but that's for obvious reasons. It happens. What are you going to do? It's it's a bummer. And that Mechanicsburg show was doing really well, and I was really really pissed and bummed that happened. But
I'm either going to try to see you in Philly, which I had the dates up. I think that's the 17th, or I'm not crazy about the Fillmore down in Silver Springs. It's a nice venue, but it's just it's a pain in the ass to get to. But I'll one of those two, I'm going to try to catch a show because I've never seen Wasp.
Ever. Oh, yeah, you got to come see Wasp, man. They're great live. It's awesome. Yeah. Bands Mike and Doug and Achilles, those guys are a killer.
Oh yeah, killer band, man. And I mean, Blackie's still killing it. So one thing I wanted to ask you was, you guys both formed or started around 82-ish, somewhere in that range, right?
Yeah.
And you guys are in LA, you're on the Strip, you're playing Gazzari's and Troubadour and Coconut Teaser and blah blah blah.
Never Coconut Teaser, but
no. Okay, was that like a no place or what?
No, it just, I mean, kind of, but we didn't. We never played there, but we did play Gazzari's once. Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of happening, and you guys, were you rivals at the time? And here's the thing that I kept thinking was, at that time, you've got bands like Mickey Rat, you've got Motley, you've got Striper, Rocks Regime, you've got Bang Tango, I could keep going on and on and on.
Oh yeah.
All these bands are vying for, but you guys are kind of OG. You're kind of in that early phase with Rat. And how much competition was going on back then, and how friendly were you guys at the time versus maybe now?
I think there was a lot of competition, and I think everybody still wanted to blow each other off the stage. But I think there was some friendships and camaraderie with each other. It's all friendly rivalry, like you pointed out. You obviously want to go out and kick people's butt, just like you would if you were playing a game of hockey against them or basketball. But you could still like be cordial and respectful and be friends with some people after the gig. So I think that was all just very natural. I'm sure that still exists. It should always exist. But you don't want to have any negative things with people, and that's happened.
Sure.
you know, Wasp, it always feels like they were just a little bit bigger than Armored Saint back in the
Okay.
day. So we were kind of catching up.
Right.
But eventually, you know, we were one of the biggest bands in the city at that time. Motley Crue and Quiet Riot kind of already had passed on because they were already, well, they were ahead of us. Yeah.
They were signed, I guess. Too Fast for Love was 81, I think.
They were off and running.
You guys, both those two bands, yours and Blackie's, were kind of different though from that whole a lot in that scene, because you guys weren't singing about chicks and getting laid and, you know, partying all the time. You were taking on some fairly serious topics on the first album, and your image was definitely not the spandex. Well, you did have big hair.
We did have big hair,
but it wasn't like super big hair. and Blackie, of course, you know, I was going to say he didn't do spandex, but he did do spandex, and he did do the guy liner thing a little bit. But he also had the cod piece, you know, the cod piece of death. Right. So, and they were doing sort of the horror. I don't want to say porno because it wasn't really porno, but it kind of was a little bit. You know, what's the word I'm looking for here? Maybe just sexploitation, maybe was the word. But I think that, you know, you guys were kind of different from the run-of-the-mill bands that were doing this, right? And
yeah, we were a little bit more influenced by, you know, the metal scene in Britain and Europe and stuff.
Right.
And I think those bands were a little bit more had a little more of an impact on us. I mean, you know, no disrespect, we got along great with all the bands that you mentioned, you know, Great White, Keel, it goes on and on, Black and Blue, but
right.
But we just sounded a little bit more like UFO and had that kind of Scorpions.
Yeah,
and kind of had that little bit more of that European
the Euro. Yeah,
we love bands like Aerosmith too, and Ted Nugent, of course, great American rock bands and stuff, Cheap Trick. But I think we were just more inspired at that time by Maiden and, you know, the bands Motorhead and bands that were happening at that time, primarily from Europe. And the LA bands had a certain sound. But again, that being said, we still played shows together, and the crowds, of course, blended and mixed, and we still vibe with everybody, and it was all great shows.
When did you guys get signed? Was it 83?
We got signed it was probably 83 because to Chrysalis, that is. Obviously, we put out the EP on Metal Blade in 1983. So right. We signed with them prior to that. But the first March of the Saint, well, we had the classic Armored Saint show at Perkins Palace where we were celebrating us signing to Chrysalis, and that was in March of 84. So it was probably right around then.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like when you did that, what was your first tour with, like your first national tour? Was it that Wasp tour with Metallica?
That was Quiet Riot and Whitesnake. We went out and played with those guys first, and then which was killer because, you know, we were playing some arenas, and then Whitesnake dropped off for whatever reason, and then the venues got a little smaller because Quiet Riot was already kind of, you know, they had already peaked a little bit, and so we just continued with them though, and we played the Tower Theater in Philly and you know, Beacon Theater in New York, and that was a great tour. I mean, we were playing some arenas prior to that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's so strange that it literally took me 30 years to see you guys. I don't know why or how. It's just one of those things where one day I'm like, wait, what? I've never seen this band.
Keep in mind, I also was in Anthrax for 12 years. So, I mean, like,
that's huge.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, we hear that a lot, and, you know, better late than never.
Yeah. So on the topic of extensive touring, one of the things I wanted to ask was, how difficult is it for you at this point? You know, you're 40 years into this pretty much, or maybe a little more, right? 40.
I mean, if you want to say that, you know, the official tour started in 84, then I guess we'd be right at 40. Yeah.
Right. And the 20-year-old John Bush versus the 60-year-old John Bush, and you're a healthy dude. I mean, from all appearances, you're a very healthy guy. But how difficult is it staying mentally and physically fit and healthy out on the road like that? For now, you're going to be out for about 5 weeks, I think.
It's almost 7, actually.
Yeah, 7, okay.
I think it's just, you know, I mean, I don't like drink like I did. As a matter of fact, like the last couple of tours, I don't think I drank at all. Not like
Wow.
one drop. Well, that's not true. On the Queensway, I did it a couple of times, but not that I drink that much at this point in my life anyway. But I like to have a beer, right? And I like some wine.
Sure.
But I just try to stay as healthy as I can. Try to go into the gym at hotels, usually on days off. Because I get enough cardio on stage and stuff. But just try to stay as healthy as possible. Eat the best you can when you're on tour, which is not always easy to do.
Yeah.
You just try to do that. And, it's all about, doing the best you can. I mean, when I was 25, we didn't think about any of that stuff. You just party.
You're invincible, right? At that age, you're invincible.
Yeah. I mean, I still used to say I won't party until I have a day off. And so I still had that kind of feeling. I did have that.
That's amazing.
Make sure I didn't mess my voice, but I also was doing extracurricular activities. I won't mention what, but you can let your mind wander. And we're young, man. We're young and probably getting minimal sleep. Sleep is imperative these days. Like, sleeping on a bus is hit and miss for me sometimes. So,
are you able to get 8 hours a day?
Sometimes I need a little help, but I do my best to just get as much rest as you can. And there's going to be a lot of dates in a row on this. I'm curious to see how Blackie's going to tackle it because he's going to be playing longer than I am. So it's a lot. It's an arduous tour as far as a lot of shows in a row, but we're going to give it our best and get as much rest as you can and go out there and kick some ass.
And you were out with Blackie. Was that last year?
It was like 2 years ago.
Oh, it was 2. God, it's that far back now already. Wow, man. You know him well, you know the band well, you're all friends. Does Blackie, how sometimes the headliner treats the middle band or the openers kind of shitty and doesn't give them sound checks and doesn't give them full production? I'm assuming that doesn't happen with you guys.
No, I mean they've been nothing with that last tour we did. They were nothing but great. Blackie was awesome. The band treated us very, very well. Certainly got enough time to do everything we needed to do as far as sound checks and things like that. So, I mean, really, you shouldn't have to sound check that much once you're like 10 shows in.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think as a headliner and a support act, quite frankly. But because once you got a groove, you got a groove. It's the show, But of course, you got to kind of set it up and get it going. Then once it gets rolling, you're there. And, but yeah, they treated us very well. We were able to sell as much merch and whatever items we wanted to do. And we went out to Blackie. Went out to dinner with Blackie and the guys a couple times. And it was great vibes. So, any favorite activities you like? Well, twofold here. Are there any shows? Most of these shows you probably played a lot of these places before or cities before. Are there any shows on this particular run that you're like, we haven't been there before? That's going to be cool. There are, especially the first weeks. We're starting in Portland and in Portland, Oregon, that is, and we haven't played there in like 8 years. Then we go to Vancouver, which we haven't played since '85. We played Calgary, we've never played. Boise, Idaho, never played. Spokane, never played. Salt Lake, we haven't been there in years. So yeah, it's really exciting.
That's cool.
We played Quebec City, we haven't played there in years. So, again, love going back to Philly and in Cleveland, Pittsburgh. Sure. Of course, these are, Detroit. We love these places, but it is exciting to go to places that we haven't either played in years or haven't played at all. So it's really fun.
Do you get to, I guess it depends on the day and it depends on what the travel schedule is and all that, but do you get often in places like that, even though it might not be a day off, do you have some time that you can go out and sort of check out and window shop or just check out?
A bit. It depends on where you're at, where you're parked, how close it is, where the venue is to some of that stuff. It's a day-to-day thing. Sometimes you want to pop in and check out, like we went to the Motown Museum. We were in Detroit last time, which was unbelievable. So, we went to Gettysburg when we were.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Which is really amazing. So, you do within reason. As long as it kind of jives with the schedule and your amount of energy on that day as well. So
sure. Yeah. If you're trying to, rest up and recuperate and for you in particular, the dangers are a little more intense of getting sick, and I don't want to say the C word, but you know what I'm thinking. And it's like you have to be a little more judicious about how much contact you have, I guess, with people to a degree.
I do, and I have a tendency to like to go into the crowd and sometimes sing a song, and
Yeah, you did it in Philly, yeah.
I really enjoy doing that, but I am thinking maybe I should probably start refraining from doing that because, you know, it's just probably not the smartest thing, but it's really cool. And the fans really kind of, you know, it really connects everybody. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. I mean, I do my best, but also I don't want to overthink it. You know, I don't want to go out there and be paranoid. You just live, you know, so do the best you can, make the smartest decisions that you can make, and then just rock and have a fun time.
So here's a crazy question. I'm not sure whether you'll answer it or not, but I'm about to wrap up. Give me 5 minutes. I can wrap up. Is it ever a grind to you? Do you ever coffee? Some coffee?
Got me in the Armored Saint cup. So
nice. Cool. Love it. Does it ever feel like a grind for you ever? Do you ever okay, like any job, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it is a grind, man. It's a grind for sure, without a doubt.
But you get along so well with all your guys. You guys are all like married, so it's kind of like
we get along well. I mean, you know, we're not. It's not. You know, it's not eternal bliss. And what band is, you know? Right. So, but the reality is that luckily we're all veterans, and for the most part, everybody is capable of giving everybody some space when it's necessary. And usually we get along really well on the road. Actually, it's usually when we're home when we actually have the problems via emails and stuff. That stuff gets a little bit heated and maybe misunderstood. But you know, the reality is, you know, no one's really posturing for you know, to
dominant
be the leader or any of that
dominant thing. Yeah, right.
It's just, you know, you go out there and have fun and do your thing and you know, just focus and have a good time. And, you know, it's, you know, but yeah, is it a grind? Of course, you're a rock band playing, you know, we're doing like 21 shows in 24 days. That's a grind.
Dude, that's insane, man.
It's a grind. So
I'm going to be thinking about you about
thank you, brother. I'll get all your love and support.
We are 6 days away from the 4th anniversary of Punch the Sky. And last time we talked, you're like, we're going to try to work on something for 2025. Is that still the target? Or
we are working on stuff. I'm working on some lyrics right now and writing some stuff and trying to figure some things out. You know, me and Joey are kind of disagreeing on this one last thing we've been working on, but you know, we're doing it, and our objective is to get out a new record. I don't know when, you know, to be exact. You know, for me, I still truly believe it's more about, you know, the quality of the music than the quantity of it.
Sure.
You know, that being said, you don't want to wait too long before you get a record out. You know, you want to kind of keep the momentum going, which is what we're
stay relevant, stay a little bit relevant.
But by touring, you are staying relevant.
That's true. Yeah. So a couple quickies here, just fun little things, if I could. By the way, Tim lives in Vancouver, and he just saw that there's a Vancouver date, so he's a happy camper.
Awesome.
And I just wanted to see if anybody had any major question in here. Sorry, guys, I had to roll quick because I got to get John out of here in a few minutes. But if you have anything pressing you want to ask him, hit me now. So I want to throw a couple funny things up here and get your reaction. All right, this is not a Blackfoot t-shirt thing. All right.
Okay.
All right. So this is number one.
5 times John Bush, just goddamn rule. Yeah, with the oh wait, what is
Decibel?
Yeah, that's cool. Decibel. I mean, was that in the actual magazine?
I don't know if it's an online or not. I think it might be an online. Let me see. Where's that? Here, there we go. Greg Pratt. This was October 2018. So about
and that was a great interview. I do definitely remember that, and I did like that shirt. It was
yeah, look at that artwork, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. What was why is the book escape? I'm having a complete break.
Where the Wild Things Are.
Where the Wild Things Are. Thank you. I read that many times to my kids. And,
but the best part of this, John, is the headline, man. The byline: 5 times John Bush just goddamn ruled. I love
that's
it.
great. That's great. I do remember that article, and it was very cool. So kudos to him to writing it. And then it is pretty funny with my little crown there. It's funny.
All right. The two last ones, short ones here. And this, I was just trying to find some funny stuff to
That's
get
great.
your comments
That's great.
on.
You're doing good.
All right. So this one here is, where'd he go? Where'd he go? Here we go. All right. So you have to answer this question, John. Was John Bush a mistake?
Ooh, wow. That's on YouTube. That's like a story.
Some on YouTube, they did a ranking the John Bush albums, and they
Wow.
titled it "No Clickbait." There now, is there?
That's funny. Well, hey, man, everyone's entitled to their opinion. And, what are you going to do? Was it a mistake? I think it was just a period of time.
Sure.
Of course, I'm not going to say I'm a mistake.
Of course not.
But I didn't go and like tell him to kick Joey out. It wasn't a coup.
No, of course not. Yeah,
But I'm always proud of my time in Anthrax. I think we made some amazing records.
Oh man.
Everything was changing. It was also going from the 80s to the 90s.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of a drop off there for a lot of bands.
Hell yeah.
A lot of bands. Most, let's say, in the 80s.
Yeah. And you guys survived it, and in a weird way, not in a weird way, but in a real way, I think you kind of helped resurrect the band to a large extent. But the thing is, if I could just finish real quick here and say this, the universe is right now because you really belong with Armored Saint. But I get it that was an opportunity you could not say no to. Now, I did not know this, John. I feel stupid. I can't believe I didn't know this, but you actually tried out for Metallica or were asked to join?
I didn't actually try out. It was just an idea that they had of bringing me in, but I never actually officially tried out. So
how did I miss that? Was that,
dude? Come on, you got to go back in your history, Jeff.
Dude. What the hell, man?
It's all right. You can read
I
about
just
it.
cut my hair off. I don't
times about it, and you can find many articles. I did it referring to it for sure.
All right, the last thing, and we have to don't blink or you might miss this. But this I didn't know either, dude. This is hilarious. All right, ready? Are we ready? There he is.
Wow.
There he is.
That was me at Gazzari's where they filmed that. It was really cool.
How did that happen? What's the
backstory? The same
backstory?
label as Huey. We were just about ready to put March of the Saint out. Our A&R guy knew they were making this video, and they needed like a rock dude. So they said, get John. He's a singer in this new band that we're putting a record out, and he'll be perfect. So I did it. And of course, too much makeup, but I was also trying to represent the LA guy thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's fun. Those guys were super cool. They were a great band. That record was huge for Huey Sports.
Oh, gigantic.
Record. And
did they pay you? Did they pay you?
I don't remember getting paid or not.
Or was it just free beer or free food and whatever?
I got paid something, but I don't think that was the objective. It was just more about kind of doing this cameo, and it's funny, great song.
I saw that and I'm like, wait, hold on a sec, really? And then I watched the little spot and I'm like, that doesn't look like John. I watched it like 4 times. I'm like, holy shit, that's John.
But it's the breastplate. It was the breastplate that I used to wear. So that's
and looking up at you that way, it didn't look like you, like I was standardly knowing you. So that was a fun little thing. I thought those would be cute little deals to throw in there. Well, look, man, I think let me see. I'm just double checking here. Again, I hope to see you on the 17th or the 22nd.
Please keep me posted on everything. Let me know how you're doing and how everything's going. And if you can make it, great. And if not, there will be others.
I will, man. I'll let you know. A big thanks to Liz over at Earsplit.
Oh,
doing great work. I did say to her when she sent it out, the invites out, I'm like, is it John again or is it Joey? Because you guys generally do the press. And she goes, it's John. I said, man, he's gonna be like, not that douchebag again. So
and I love the conversation because that's exactly what it is. It's just we're just chatting. So that's the best part.
Well, listen, man, stay healthy out on the road.
You too, brother.
Have a blast. Lots of dates, dude.
Yeah,
Rest
no,
up.
don't remind me.
Rest up. Be prepared. Get your cardio in now. Do you run a lot? Are you a runner? You look like you're a runner.
Oh yeah, I like to run.
You get on the treadmill, or do you run
Play
out?
ball. Still play basketball. I haven't played lately, but I still play basketball.
No shit.
I play a pickup game. Yeah, I'm active. Do the elliptical on the rowing machine. Do a little boxing class periodically. Pilates, you name it. I do it all.
I wish I could get there, John.
You will.
We will try. We will try. So, anyways, dude, thank you so much. Hang on 1 second here, and we'll say goodbye.
Okay.
Thanks everybody who was in the chat tonight, and
thanks, guys.
Appreciate you all. By the way, real quick, 2 quick things. Big time thoughts and prayers or whatever. If you do that sort of thing for Jakey Lee, man.
Yeah, it sucked.
Jake is a treasure. That guy is such an awesome dude. And
back in the day with the Rat at the Troubadour. It was awesome.
With Mickey, were they Mickey Rat? They're Mickey Rat. Yeah,
for sure.
That's so cool, man. I would love to talk to Jake, but right now he's lucky, so lucky to be that didn't end up worse. Also tonight, 5 o'clock in a few hours, I'm interviewing Jesper Grass. Probably saying that wrong. From the band Iotun.
Nice.
They're putting a new album out called Kinship. It's killer. If you love Arcturus and you love Borknagar, you're gonna like this band. And a little bit of Dream Theater in there, some shreddy bits. So they're a great band. Catch that. And then next week I've got Brian from Satan is coming on. I believe that's 24. So we're rolling them in here, man. Lots of stuff to go.
That's old school right there.
Yeah. Great band, man. They always put out great albums, man. I
think I have a Satan record right up here somewhere.
The new one or an
I
older
do actually. I don't. Maybe it's a reissue or
which album?
Where is it at? Look at this. Look at that.
The Court. Which one is that?
That is Earth Infernal.
Okay, I think that's like 2 back. Yeah, how about that, man?
That's
so Brian will be here next Thursday, I believe it is. You'll have to check my schedule, but
cool.
Thanks everybody for being here, and all hail the legendary John Bush.
Thank you, brother.
Hang on, brother.